to you wherever you're listening to us from, and thanks for staying tuned to your darling station, Sunrise FM 96.1. And I'm glad to welcome you to the program. It's Teaching Time, coming to you from Sunrise FM 96.1. My name is Precious Chikwekezi, your precious friend on radio. So today on It's Teaching Time, we will be focusing on something that is for the women. Yeah, we are talking about inspiring future female leaders. And this aims at inspiring and empowering the next generation of women. You know, when you empower a woman, you have empowered the nation. I'm not saying that the men are not doing enough. They are doing so well, but the women have been kicked to the background for a very long time. So it's about time they get up and go. So the women are standing up, and more women are springing up. That's actually what we want. And when that happens more, you will see we will have more developments. When women begin to do things that they know how to do best, in addition to what the male counterparts are doing, man, it will go a long way. There's no way you will say that the nation will not develop. Just give a woman a chance. Just take, for instance, in some offices where you have a woman in charge, you can tell that something different happens there. Yeah. So that is for you to say, because a woman will bring in that managerial attributes and skills in her that she uses to manage her home. She will bring it to the office, and everything will move on well. So today we are focusing on how we can get some women pushed to discover what they can do so that they can become better leaders of tomorrow. That's what we're talking about, inspiring future female leaders. So to discuss this all-important topic today, I have with me as a special guest Rachel Obiageri Ede. She is the founder, Gutsy Women Network. We're glad to have you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me, Precious.
Okay, so today we are talking about empowering or inspiring women so that they become better leaders of tomorrow. So why do you think it is important for the progress of the society? How do you think women should be empowered to better position themselves to contribute for the progress of the society?
I like that we're talking about women, but I don't think it's just women alone. I think we need to empower everyone. I was just speaking with the lady who came in with me about how we're doing so much for women, and it feels like the men are a little bit left out. So, but to answer your question, I think there is need to see that we put out more inspiring programs and projects, that see to I would always say that there is need for a full-blown impact. It's not just a conference where we talk to people and then they go. We need like a full-blown program or project that would see to it that our women are well equipped with the knowledge that they need in order to empower others and grow the society, or grow the economy of the society, whichever one. So like for us at Gutsy, I remember speaking to you about it yesterday, that it's not just about the conference we had on Saturday. Aside that, we have a follow-up program we call the implementation of strategic plans on how to see that people are able to implement what they've been able to learn. So there is need to see that we equip people with a full-blown impact, give them the required skill, give them the required knowledge, and then if it's possible, give them the required resources that they need. Because it's one thing to have the knowledge, it's one thing to have the creative idea, and it's another thing to have the resources to fund your ideas. So I think there is need for a full-blown impact, so to speak.
Okay, talking about that kind of program, you run a network that is basically to empower women, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit about it?
Okay, the name is the God's Human Network, and what we do is to see that we bridge the gap between women, but we are specifically focused on a mentor and mentee relationship. We realize that there is a gap when we talk about when we talk about um, the younger people. We don't have enough. Will I say enough follow up? We don't have people who are nudging them in the right direction. We have our parents, yes, but there is need to see that we give them mentors in the field that they desire to go into. So what we do is to see that we put out programs, we put out events, symposiums, seminars, roundtable discussion that would help to bridge this gap. Get them in a room with women who have been doing this thing for long. Get them in a room with those who have traveled that journey, because anyone who has walked that path is able to direct you rightly. So what we are doing is to see that we put out, whether it's fun event, whether it's a serious event, but what we know is to bring them in, to bring the younger ones in a room with those who are advanced, to bridge the gap and just get them to be nudged and mentored.
Okay, so basically what you do is to get these young women together, discover what they are good at, the skills they have, and then work on that.
Yes, when it comes to discovering, they do that themselves. What we do is to provide the platform.
Nurture them.
Yes, get the people who can speak to you, put out trainings, free skill acquisition. Then whichever one that you feel you want to learn, then you apply for it and you learn. We currently have a tech program, a free tech skill going on. And then of course in October we're going to repeat that. So I think it's now left for the people who are interested to look for where they have interest in, and then they apply. On Saturday we had various topics we talked about. So what we do is, like I mentioned earlier, we bring people who would speak to them on the various area where we feel that women need nudging, and then it's left for you to now say, oh, I want to go into leadership, or I want to go into maybe baking, or I want to go into the fashion industry, whichever one, and then we put out a program. When you apply, you further learn the skill.
Okay, but recently you just did that that roundtable talk.
Yes, we had
but
that.
Then you're planning. Oh, okay. But then you're planning where you move on to the next stage.
Yes, the conference, the roundtable talk was in April. Then on Saturday we had our conference.
Oh, okay.
Then after our conference, we're going to have a sit-down talk where we can talk to women on how to implement everything that they learned. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's like 3 stages.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
That means there's no way somebody will go through these 3 stages and the person will not be able to make great impact.
That's why I say we are talking about full-blown impact when it comes to guts. We're trying to see that we do everything we can for our women to be really impacted. There is so much talk going on already. There is so much, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. So, and then when the young people go home, they have a full jotter with there is so much they are seeing them, but without maybe a direction on what step am I to take. So we want to see that they have that conversation with someone who would help them, talk to them on how they can go. But at the end of the day, you do most of the work yourself. What they are doing is just to nudge you. You do most of the work because you have the vision, you have the passion, you have the everything. So what we do is to get you someone who can now direct you, but then you are able to identify the particular field or area you want to go into yourself.
Okay, so maybe what people really need is, after that discovery, they just need just a little push.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes, that's what
amazing.
We're doing.
You're doing so well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just hope a lot of persons can actually key into the vision, not just for the women, just like you said, but also for other young guys out there who may need some push before they get up and go.
Yes.
So today there are a lot of young people out there who, not because they don't have their God-given talents or skills, but you see them not really doing anything. What do you think is really the problem or the challenge that these young persons face, especially the young women?
I would say that we are in an era where everyone wants quick cash. If you speak to maybe a mechanic or people who do certain skill, they will tell you people don't want to learn a skill anymore. I know my husband's mechanic, he talks about that constantly. I'm using that as an example. So people no longer want to go through that process. They just want quick cash. If I'm doing something today, I expect a result tomorrow. So when they don't have that quick result, it just dulls them. And then social media, yes, social media does its own good, but it comes with maybe a disadvantage. So you see a young lady who is in her 20s comparing herself to a woman who is in her 60s. You want to have the kind of money she has, the family, the everything, forgetting
But you don't want to go through what she has
but you
been
don't want
through.
to go through. So when it's not happening that way, they just get withdrawn or relaxed. That's why I like when you talked about push. So at the end of the day, there is need to see that we speak to them. That life is a process. Life is a journey. Everything doesn't have to happen at a time. Anyone who makes cash this quick, there must be something behind it. I know some people, yes, but because it takes time to build,
And some efforts too.
and it takes effort too to build. And then talking about effort, most people they don't want to even put in the effort, because if these women those who are empowered, those who are advanced, if they tell you what they've gone through to build that, you might not even be able, you might not want to go into that field, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot, but we are more focused on the glamorous side. We're more focused on the result, which is the problem with what we have now. A lot of people are just focused on the result, the glamorous side, like we posted pictures and videos of our event, and everyone is like, wow, but it took a lot. It took a lot of effort in order for us to get there. So those who have gone through this process, I think there is need to constantly put it. I would always stop because we are currently shooting a documentary producing a documentary to tell the stories of women. So I would always say that there is need to talk about what people don't see. Enough of talking about what they see. So let's not just talk about the result, let's talk about the process. So I believe if we start talking about the process more, our young people will be able to calm down a bit, and then they would maybe at that point they would now realize that there is need to put in that effort. And then when you start doing it, you'd find joy. It's one thing to there's this joy you derive when you're building something yourself and you're seeing the result. I'm not saying it's easy, but there is this joy that you get when you're building something. So I think that there is need to, in as much as we are complaining that our young people want quick result with our process, there is need for us to start putting out the process, putting out the backside, the behind the scene that they are not seeing. That way they are encouraged to take time and just build.
Okay, that's a good one. Do you think that young women, especially, really need formal education to get empowered?
We all do. It's not just young women. It gives you an edge.
What if you don't have that opportunity? Does it mean that there's no other way you can actually be empowered?
Of course, it doesn't restrain you. My dad is someone that I would always, he's late now, he's someone that I always look up to. My dad did not have the opportunity to get that, but he was able to build so much for himself. He was able to do, so much. He was hoping
without the formal education.
Yes, he was hoping to go back before he passed away. So I don't think it does. I don't think it should restrain you. What it does is to give you an edge. It just helps you to amplify what your God-given vision or whatever skill you have. It just helps you, amplify that.
Amazing. Well, it doesn't really mean that if we have an opportunity that we shouldn't help people to get that formal education. Just like you said, everybody needs it.
Everyone does.
So, for young women, do you think that what role do you think that mental health play in helping them pursue their goals, especially leadership goals?
It's a very important aspect. I'll tell people that health in general is a very important aspect that we need to infuse in everything we do. Like last year we had a speaker who specifically spoke on mental health, because it's one thing that we get to overlook. So it's really, really important. You have to be mentally alert. You have to be in the right place upstairs in order for you to do whatever you need to do. So it's a necessity. It's not even important. It's a necessity to see that you take time and be sure that you are in the right place mentally. I like you mentioned in leadership as well. I've had scenarios where I was not in the right place of mind, and I realized that I acted in a way that I
You
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
So it gets to a point where you take out time to take a break, or take out time to ask questions, take out time to do whatever you need in order to be in the right place mentally. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to keep telling people that, oh, there is something, oh, I'm not okay with it. So it's a necessity for each and
people will
every
you
one of
explain
us. How
to?
many people will you explain to? I had to apologize to a friend yesterday because of my outburst on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know how it is with events, you're doing this and that. So
At
you
the
want-
point it will get to your
it
brain.
gets to you. So I'm at that place where I'm like, oh, I think one thing I need to do is to learn, how to, I don't know, just be in the right place of mind mentally. Even when there's heat, I have to ask the right questions, or look it up, so that I don't get to act. I don't know how to maybe act on my emotion at that point, because you don't want to keep apologizing to people for your reaction after all. So of course it's a priority.
Thank you. So apart from what you're doing at God Say Women Network, what else do you think, in what way do you think that government or say individuals can better support women to pursue their dreams and achieve their goals?
I would like to personalize it. For us at Kotse, I think individuals are doing enough. They're doing a lot, and not just Kotse. I see what people are doing. A lot of organizations are doing. What I think what the government needs to do is to really get involved. Because I don't start sharing personal stories, but I would say that in general, let's just leave it at that. I think the government they need to really get involved and support organizations in order to see that we accelerate the growth of women.
Okay. Apart from what you're doing at your own organization, are you in any way collaborating with other organizations or agencies to see that you really push this matter to where it should be?
It's the reason why we had, by the grace of God, a very big event on Saturday. The
Okay.
Got Women Network wouldn't have done that alone.
Without
We had a
collaborations,
good
yeah.
number of partners, we had a good number of people who came on board and collaborated with us. So we are very big on collaboration. The documentary we're currently working on, we're collaborating. The conference, we're collaborating. We had a meeting today, it was about collaboration. In order for you to go far, you need to put yourself out there and collaborate with people.
Yeah. Okay, so in 1 minute, because we don't have much time on our hands, where do you see Guts Women Network in the next 5 years?
I think this is the first time I'm being asked that question.
Very good.
And for now, I'll just say that we are living in the moment.
Oh, okay.
So we are living in the moment. So I just want to see that we are able to bask in this euphoria and just do what we're doing for now.
But it doesn't mean that you're not planning for tomorrow.
No, we are. Of course, you're planning for the future. But I think if we start thinking a lot about that, it's just
You
going
might
to
disorganize what you're
Yes,
planning at the
because
moment.
there's so much to be done, even just in this year. We
Okay.
just finished this, we're talking about August, we're talking about October, there is so much. So we're just, we're still here, living in the moment.
Okay, so your message to young women out there, and maybe equally to young guys out there, in
Okay.
a few seconds.
Like I mentioned earlier, I think one thing I would really like to put out there is for people to go out there, network more, collaborate with people, get involved, and do you. That's like a very big advice that we need to really think deeply and act on. Just do you. Just do what God has asked you to
Be
do.
yourself.
Be yourself. We have a lot of copy and paste already.
Everywhere.
So bring out your uniqueness. Do it the way God has planted it in your heart.
That's a very amazing way to end this
Thank you.
talk today.
Thank you
It's
so
been so wonderful having you.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
you for coming.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So you out there, it's been wonderful speaking with the founder of the Guts to Women Network. I'm talking about Rachel Obiagiri Ede. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you heard what she said. It is for you to discover who you are. So taking action is your responsibility. If you have not done that, it is about time for you to start, because they say a stitch in time saves 9. And thank you immensely for being part of today's edition of the program, A Stitch in Time, coming to you from Sunrise FM 96.1. My name is Precious. Chibekezi. Don't forget that your life is precious.